Hello, everyone. Today, the topic is recruitment. Now, recruitment is vital for the existence of any organization. Remember, organization is anything which consists of two or more members striving to achieve towards a singular goal. We require employees, we require team members to achieve the objectives of the organization, and therein recruitment is an essential core of employment. So the agenda for the day, we will understand what are the methods used by the organizations to recruit and select employees, legal issues that can impede the recruitment and selection process or affect accordingly, HR roles in recruitment and selection process. Essentially, this is the crux of the presentation, and the role of a supervisor peers. When I say role of a supervisor peers, it is the functional head onto which the employee is going to work in. Definitely not everybody is going to work in human resources. Somebody is going to work in other departments, vis-a-vis inventory, stores, receiving, marketing, and so on and so forth. So the objective is hiring the right person. Let me define the objective very clearly. The right person for the right job. Hiring is all about recruitment. It is the process of attracting individuals in sufficient numbers with the adequate skills and at appropriate time to apply for the open position in the organization. Open position means vacant position where people are need to be placed so that the operation of the organization works smoothly. So basically the process of attracting individual or hiring of an individual with the requisite skills at an appropriate time is called recruitment, and that is all about. So, alternative to recruitment. What are the various alternative to recruitment we must first address to, wherein we don't hire the person directly. Now we can do the work with outsourcing it completely. So I can outsource an activity, a work, a functional area to completely a different vendors who will be working or solving that issue for us as an organization. We can partake the contingent labor are basically ad hoc labor who comes on board for a stipulated period of time. Thereafter we can opt for a part-time employees. The benefit are that they can do pursue other interests during the other half of the day. They do not need to work for the organization the whole gamut of the time. Let's say be it 8 hours or 9 hours, whatever the issues are all about it. So the part-time employees comes in, puts in a labor of 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours maximum, and probably go around with his or her agenda of the day. Also, for the organization, we don't have to give him the perks and benefits which a full-time employee enjoys. And last but not the least, we don't hire anyone. We don't hire anyone, but probably motivate or incentivize our in-house employees, in-house customers, the employees, and ask them to work for overtime for a very attractive incentive scheme that can be made to order. So, cost of recruitment and selection. Now, this is very high. Nowadays, the cost of recruitment and selection is very high, and that is the reason we are talking about the alternatives to recruitment. So, what is it? Replacing supervisory, technical, management personnel can involve approximately 50% of the salary to several 100% of the salary, wherein it is not only time, it is the amount of effort that we put in, not to mention the finance that is involved in giving advertisements and pursuing the applicants thereafter. So, internal environment, we can also recruit from the internal customers, or should I say the employees. What are the advantages of promoting somebody from within? Promotion can be looked as a reward for the good work, for the loyalty, for the decency that a employee has been conducting himself or herself. It is also a motivational tool for other employees. Promoted employees get up to speed much faster in his or her job. Why he gets into a high speed? Because he also already knows the organization inside out. He knows the key person, how the works are getting done, what is the exact process that is followed in the organization. So as a result, for him to adapt into a new position or her to adapt into a new position is very smooth, and it is a continuum effect. But as it is true with every coin, there's a flip side. So what are the disadvantages? Let me investigate those disadvantages for the promotions from within. Must fill the position vacated by the promoted employee. Now, this is one of the major disadvantages. It cannot be hierarchical, it cannot be based on seniority. If it is based on seniority, it is automatically occupied by a position from an existing employer. What does this mean? This means there is a lack of idea, there's a lack of blood into the organization. It is, we are continuing with the same process, same event, same procedure, which we have been continuing with the past year or past continuous few kind of years, or probably 5 years or 10 years back the line. So there are no incremental improvement. In case of we are hiring somebody from outside, we are bringing in new ideas, new blood. And also the most biggest impediment to promotions are, you can only promote one fellow, two fellow, or a part of the team, not the whole team. What happens to the rest of the team? Those team members or those employees who have not been promoted, they become demotivated. Therein creeps in jealousy, therein the impediment comes in, and it is a management, it becomes a management issue. So, what are the internal environment? Other options would be nepotism, wherein we can ask one of our employees or all of our employees to refer. In all probabilities, most of the employees will be referring their own bloodlines, right? So, it happens with hiring of relatives. So, does your organization have a policy on nepotism? We need to understand this. Do we have go ahead with it? Yeah, there are advantages also. What are the advantages? Let's say if somebody you refer and he or she gets appointed in the organization, but after a few passage of time the new appointee does something wrong, what will happen? All the fault will come back to the person who has referred him or her. So this is a demerit. So it can be discriminatory in the sense only few people with a know-how will get to know the vacancies, and they will only refer their own bloodline, and probably it might become a particular family centric, right? So that as a result, again management will become an issue, because if you find in a department, in a functional area, there are 4, 5, 6 members from the same family, and they are going to pitch for each other, take care of one another's back. So that might be difficult to manage. Must ensure individuals are not in a supervisory position managing their own relatives. Again, if you are working with your families, you are giving some leeways, some advantages to them. But any leeways and advantages to your employees means you are compromising on your organization goal. And the last but not the least would be an issue of favoritism creeps in. Definitely, yes, because only few people have been pointed, that to through referred, the other people will find themselves vindicated. That should not happen. So, what do we do for recruitment from the external environment? Definitely, that is there. We have two market condition. The market condition, a strong economy, that means a plentiful of work is available and plentiful of money is also available. So in a strong economy and an advanced economy, if you want to go around it, the hiring becomes difficult. And what happens to a weak economy? Weak economy, there are no jobs available, and also the job that is being there are too many of an applicants. What does it becomes? It becomes again very complicated. So labor market conditions are to be managed and to be understood thoroughly before applying yourself. So discrimination issues in recruitment. One is a Civil Rights Act. Civil Rights Act, there are plentiful of civil rights. Maybe discrimination in terms of age, in terms of gender, in terms of religion, in terms of your ethnicity, and so on and so forth. So we have these kind of civil right acts, age discrimination act. In terms of age discrimination act, maybe people who are older or who have crossed the age of 50, perhaps even 60, even they are overlooked for a younger generation. Mind you, these employees who are 50 plus or 60 plus, they too also have an expenses. Most importantly, they are experienced, but still they have been overlooked. Why? Because probably the lack of energy or lack of tuning with the existing team member. But these are discrimination. Pregnancy Discrimination Act, definitely yes, that it works against the ladies who often get pregnant, and probably the organization don't want to give them maternity leave and so on and so forth. It's better they get desist of, or they would love to hire an absolutely a lady who is not married, or probably a lady who have already has had her children, share of children, and is already settled in her family life. So then there are people with disabilities or extracurricular abilities where we are blessed with certain other features and but disadvantages with certain of your physical deformities. Let's say people might be a little bit autistic, people might be a little bit physically amputated or something like that. So people with disabilities act often becomes discriminatory. So then comes a local regulations which can further add protection against the discrimination. A local regulation is basically, the local regulation says that you should give a preference to the son of the soil concept. Wherever people are from the basic area, basic geographical location, they should be given a preference over much specialized, much educated, much experienced people from the other region. Now, this is again a discriminatory in fact. We come to internal recruitment, job posting, the posting of announcement of job opening to employees. The job information must be made available to all employees. This is very required, very much required. Usually, job posting are pasted on your notice board or probably circulated in the online fashion in the company's website. Ensure minority workers and disadvantaged individuals are aware of job opportunities. Now, these are things that comes around it, wherein job opportunities are available. People who require the job are eager, but they do not have the requisite know-how when it is being made available, when the closeout or cut-off dates are all about it. So employee cynicism occurs when there is no equal opportunity for the open position. So this is where we come to know. And what happens is the job opportunity was there and it get closed upon. The employer becomes suspicious because some of them or many of them never come to know about the vacancy in the prior hand. They only come to know after the vacancy has been closed. So in a way, they feel themselves to be cheated. We come to employee referral. Some believe, many, I am not one of them, that this route is the best to employees. Why? Because the employee have been referred. Somebody is responsible for their performances. But can perpetuate discriminatory hiring practices. Discrimination in the sense you are giving more weightage to the relationship rather than the weightage to the quality or ability of the person. External recruitment. Employment agencies. I am sure many of you are aware of employment agencies. These are government placement agencies that used to go around it. Probably in certain countries still in fashion, but in most of the advanced economies, the concept has already vanished. Executive search firm. Now, executive search firms are nothing but again an employment agencies, but this time the salary structures would be way higher, way refined, much polished, and you are looking at a higher profile. We have in-house recruiter, the in-house HR gentleman or the lady in the department who is responsible for hiring further new recruits are the in-house recruiter. Now, how do we go about it? We give advertisements. We give advertisement in the social media. We give advertisement in the newspaper. We can offer internship from the various university campuses, various technical institutes. Internship can be provided. This is a win-win situation for the company and for the intern or the student, if I may say so, because they see the real world action live, one, and they are paid to. On the other hand, the organization does not have to employ a full-time employee, at the same time can spot real talent. We have job fairs, probably much in fashion, wherein a number of companies comes under a single roof and they set up their own kiosk or requirements, wherein everybody walks in and everybody is interested to land up into a job, can walk into the various companies counter or offices and they can find it out. They can negotiate the thing. So that's the job fair that we go around it. I have already spoken about the college recruitment, wherein you go for campus recruitment. And last but not the least is the knock knock walk-in candidates, wherein a candidate can simply walk in or send an email, push an email, looking for a job. If there are any viability open are open in the company, definitely candidates have been recruited. So the most biggest advantages nowadays is all about internet recruitment. Why internet recruitment? Because it is relatively inexpensive. When I say relatively inexpensive, in the traditional methodologies, you have to give quite a quite huge expenditure on giving a print ad, but that is not required anymore. Absolutely not required anymore. You give it on the internet, and this advertisement is almost negligible. One, you can promote it on the social media. Promotion fees are nominal. Two, three, you can see the response and then can count the cost. You can verify the cost and the response accordingly. You can manipulate your advertisement expenses on the online or social media ad accounts. It is definitely quick, and believe me or not, the moment you post it, you get a response. So it's a two-way feedback mechanism, two-way communication that takes place. Responses arrive much faster and definitely in greater quantity. You will have applicant not into or from a particular location, but your pan web presence will be your applicant. So you will have applicant from different corners of the world, different corners of the country, and the corners where you are not even expected. Applicant can definitely be screened or monitored by the computer itself. Now you can have prefix notion as to who is going to be eligible, and those characters, those characteristics, qualification, experiences, you can have a parameter already set in your computer, which the computer will filter through and then let the filtered candidate come to you, reach your desk. Some selection test can be administered by computer, definitely. After During the process of filling up the interview line resume or application form, the computer can have 5, 6 or 10, 15 questions which can be objective in nature. Let's say a sample question would be, are you willing to travel for 15 days in a month? Yes, no, and so on and so forth. So basically it shows the computer will be able to know that whether the candidate is mobile or not, or he or she has a fixed place notion that going to work from his or her home. Automated applicant tracking, given a reference ID number, the applicant can come to know what is happening to his or her application status. The organization can build this up all together within the computer system and need not bother around it. At the same time, the candidate will have a better opinion, good image about the company. Now, what are the disadvantages? The ease of submission will result in lot of application because it is very easy, because it is very accessible. Even people who are not qualified will apply. So what is going to happen? Your server is going to be blocked or rushed through, and there will be huge traffic in your server. May take HR more time to sort because of the huge number of applicants. The HR has to filter through a lot many applications before coming to the quality candidate, and this is because only about the huge quantity that we are around it. So recruitment of diversity, ethnically diverse workforce enhance creativity. Yes, definitely yes. The more the diverse the workforce are, the more the viewpoints are coming into it, and you can be emphatic that similar number of customers are also available to your products and to your services of the organization. So recruitment must generate applicants from a different sect of the society, different background of the society, different ethnicity of the society, must generate n numbers of applicants. Train recruiter to use objective standard. Use picture of minority and disabled employees in the recruitment flyers. This helps to promote you that you are an equal employment opportunity provider. And make sure your ads are always bilingual. Bilingual, when I say, it may be in your national language and probably in your mother tongue, probably in English, wherever the bilingual. At least preference to be given to at least two languages, so that it makes the candidate much more comfortable. So HR dilemma: should we go for referral or should we not go for non-referral? So this needs to understand the HR dilemma is referral program discriminatory or referral program is guilt free. Now whatever you want to go around it, you have to decide and then go for the hard purpose altogether. We come to the employment application. Now, essentially, application must include what? What are the data that is required? Number one, the application information requires the name of the person, the signature of the person, the statement of employment at will, that is for sure that he or she is going to be subjecting himself or herself to the rules and regulation of the organization, and a permission from the applicant for a reference check, whether a background check can be done on the applicant. If this permission is given around it, nothing like it. And what should we avoid? Number one, avoid anything on discriminatory. Let's say people from different background, you can ask for what qualification, but please don't ask from which college or which university. This can be detailed out during the later stage of recruitment. Citizenship and social security data, we have the work information on workers compensation, disability, past salary levels, birth date, election, education dates, and so on and so forth. Now, this needs to be understood again and again. The driver license gives you all information regarding the social security number, regarding the address, and so on and so forth. So these are the things which you should avoid altogether. Right. Now we come to the screening purpose, usually conducted by telephone, definitely, but definitely not all organizations are following it up. It's basically a few straight questions that is being thrown out and can be very easy in filtering less qualified the selection process. Now, there are many companies who are looking for selection test. Why this particular selection test has been conducted? Because of the huge numbers. Now, also selection test means there's a uniformity of procedures and conditions being administered. So there is a inborn standardizations comes in. Based on the response of the selection test, there is a consistent result. You can be very reliable as to how fair you have been. The validity of the test is the test measure it claims. It can give you the intellectual quotient, the emotional quotient, or the technical know-how the candidate possesses. So, kind of selection test, we have the cognitive aptitude test, the mental test, job knowledge test, or should I say the technical know-how, the work sample test. It can be a practical demonstration, nothing like it. Psychomotor test based on your ability to think and assess your limbs altogether. Personality test, the way you carry yourself, how positive, negative, what are the attributes of a person. Vocational interest test, honesty and integrity test. Definitely, these are tests that a candidate should be subjected to. Interviewing candidate, team, it may be a team or an individual interviewer. So single person can also be interviewing, a number of person can sit and together interview. We can have structured or pattern interview, that means pre-set of question which we ask to all the candidates. Or we can have a non-directive interviews, minimum number of question not planned in advance. Open-ended, absolutely interview question follows the candidate leads. Then comes the situational and problem-solving interview. Candidate describe how he or she would solve a problem. So a situational would be a completely stress-oriented, maybe, or it should be an intellectually curated interview. And last but not least is the behavioral interview. Candidate describing how he or she has responded to a particular situation. Verification check is the most important and the last step of these hiring processes. Most of the candidate actually lie on their resumes. Why? It has been noted that 40% lie actually about their work histories, their educational background. About 20% falsify credentials and licenses altogether. My goodness. And 30% of the applicant make misrepresentation of their resume. What kind of misrepresentation takes place? Let's say somebody has worked for 18 or 20 months in a particular organization. They will claim nearly approximately 2 years of work experiences, which are factually not correct. but inferentially you can make say that there's 4 months less than 2 years of experiences. But they should have said it, not just 20 months of experience they have 16 months, not 1.5 years of experiences, and so on. So legal liabilities, these are things that the HR should take precautions for against defamations and litigations. The harming of the reputation of another by making falsifying any of the statement to the third party, one of the biggest cause of defamation. Negligence, the failure to exercise the standard of care and reasonably prudent person would have exercised in the same situation, to be taken, to be noted down, all by thing. This will avoid litigations. Now we have negligent referral. The legal risk incurs when a past employer fails to warn a potential employer. Now, what is happening is you need to understand that if some past employer doesn't notify the present employer, that means this is he might not have done any good to the employer at all, but he will also get a candidate which the other fellows or the other employers might not be vetting. And once you are not vetting and not getting a vetted employee, things might go wrong, absolutely wrong. So negligent referral, if there are no references, please avoid such candidate. Negligent hiring, the liability of incurred when failing to conduct a reasonable investigation of an applicant background and then assign a potentially dangerous person. So this is something which you are going wrong when your assessment is all gone wrong. When the candidate has fooled the assessment process altogether, you are going to get yourself harmed organization. The job offer may be done in phone, letter, or in person. Definitely go for a physical or a drug screen or a medical examination. Discuss the salaries, the benefits. Avoid quoting annual salary. Give a project a realistic job preview and verify employee eligibility. Then only you can go for the job offer. So what are we doing upon it? We are evaluating the recruitment and selection process on the basis of cost, how much expenses that we have incurred, time, how long did it we take to fill a position, quality, what was the quality of the applicant, was the applicant is going to stay with the organization, is delivering as promised, what is the longevity, is the attrition rate. If any new hires leaves the organization within 6 months of the joining, that's a bad case scenario for the HR recruiter. But if anybody is existing in an organization for approximately 2 years or more, definitely a success. With this, I come to an end. Thank you.